Los Post-Dispatch columnist with us every Tuesday and Thursday. Good morning, Tony Messenger.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly. I'm
Hi,
going to
Tony.
offer one caveat to your rule for your non-existent children
Yes.
and athletes everywhere. The one exception is you got to be able to follow Tony Messett on Twitter.
Of
Oh, my
course.
goodness.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, the clever repartee, the connection to the columns.
It cannot be missed.
Staying on top of things the way that they could. I mean, I think that's the one exception you've got to.
I would not. I certainly would not want to deprive my children of the brilliance known as Tony Messenger on Twitter. That is correct.
There you go.
There you
There you go. Uncle Tony.
Oh,
as we
my
like to call
goodness.
him.
All right, Tony Messenger. Let's talk Eric Greitens because he's on his apology tour around the state, going to various outlets. And the interesting part is he keeps not answering the question about the photograph. He's doing a little Bill Clinton on whether or not he took a photograph.
Yeah, there's clearly he either doesn't want to entirely lie about it, or is afraid of legal liability. Obviously, I don't know which. I haven't spoken to the woman. I don't know her opinion other than what we've heard on the tape that her ex-husband made. But clearly there is a likelihood, based on his public statements right now, that that there was a photograph taken. Whether or not that photograph was used for blackmail or threatened with blackmail, he denies that. But the simple taking of a photograph of his mistress while she was in some state of undress without her knowing, and according to the recording that her ex-husband made, she was blindfolded at the time. That is potentially, according to legal experts in the state of Missouri, a crime. And so he has been very careful to not answer that question directly.
Yeah.
What I find more fascinating from the standpoint of stuff that really matters, because I tend to not expect him to be indicted on anything, at least related to his mistress situation. But yesterday he announced about a $70 million cut in higher education. He finally released some of his budget details yesterday, which he's done completely different than all other governors. Previous Missouri governors, the tradition has been you release the budget information around the state at the state. And the reason for that is you can then put context into the state of the state. When the governor stands up and says, the state of Missouri is strong and next year I'm going to do A, B, C, and X, Y, and Z, reporters, lawmakers, advocates, lobbyists, etc., they can all look at the budget that's released the same day and look at the details and say, well, that statement doesn't make sense because there's no money there, or that's where that money is. He's robbing from Peter to pay Paul, etc., and you can add some context. What the governor did yesterday was release his budget long after his forgotten state of the state, and so it's released with less context. But what's interesting is he's clearly going to be criticized, and has already been criticized severely by folks in higher education for cutting $70 million and, in effect, passing a middle-class tax cut on any Missourian who's got children going to college. And in any normal circumstance, that's a tough situation for a governor. Anytime a governor withholds money because the budget's tight, the governor gets blamed for that, even though sometimes it's the legislature's fault and sometimes it's just the economy's fault. The governor is out there without a safety net right now. He's got nobody standing up with him. He's got nobody supporting him. He's got the cloud of the affair and the city circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, investigating him, and allegations of the FBI talking to folks and possibly looking into various things. All of this is a cloud over the actual public policy. So when he announces a $70 million cut to higher education, there's nobody on his political side anywhere who's standing up saying, yeah, way to go, Governor, we got your back, we'll figure this out. The knives are out. And that really changes things in terms of the politics in the legislature. He is right now a weak, lame duck governor. That's the current existence. I don't know if he can climb out of that. I don't know if he's going to be that in 6 months. But right now, as this legislature meets, as this budget is being discussed, the governor is as weak as we've had a governor in a very, very long time.
I get your point about being $70 million short and trying to figure all that stuff out and whatever else. And I get the affair, and the affair, it is what it is. But I took out of the last couple of days is that he's not, and his administration is not cooperating with the investigation over the Confide app. He still might be using the Confide app and destroying government property, even being told not to use it by the Attorney General.
Yes, and that's, again, we talk about clouds upon clouds. Understand with the Confide situation, he has two investigations that he's going to have to deal with. He's got the Attorney General investigation, and Attorney General Josh Hawley has already told the Kansas City Star that the governor's office isn't being all that cooperative. And then yesterday, the governor refused to answer when one of our reporters from the Post-Dispatch, Jack Suntrup, asked him, "Are you still using Confide?" The governor didn't answer. So he may still be using it. And if that's the case, then this lawsuit that was filed by two St. Louis area attorneys, Mark Pedroli and Ben Sansone, is really going to be interesting if they get to the discovery phase. Because if they get to the discovery phase and the governor and or his staff admits they still have this app on their phone, they're admitting the possibility of violating state law. Because if records are being destroyed by definition before anybody's made a determination that they may be public, which is how the state retention law works, then it's a violation of state law just by having the app on the phone. And so that lawsuit and that Attorney General investigation is ongoing, as well as a circuit attorney investigation, as well as potentially, according to various reports, FBI agents at least asking some questions. All of this going on just really limits the governor and his staff, their ability to accomplish anything serious in the legislature.
It's also these are all self-inflicted wounds.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is
and as well as the fact that he's got nobody standing up with him right now. This is a governor who ran against the establishment, including those members of I'm going to say his own party, his current party, which I'm not sure what the governor actually believes in terms of his political beliefs, but he ran as a Republican and says he's a Republican and acts like a Republican. So, but he ran against all those people who, in his Republican Party, would be standing up for him now, and instead are going after him. The Republicans, if talking in the political world, and I know you do some of that as well as I do, the Republicans are going after him more than the Democrats are. Democrats are kind of sitting back and watching and going, "Wow, this is take out the popcorn and watch this guy self-destruct." Republicans are going after him.
Well, hold on a second. I need that little clarification. The Democrat down in Jefferson City is watching, because there's like three of them
Democrat.
down there.
There aren't. Yeah,
there's three of them down there.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Tony, have a good week. Thanks. Talk to you on Thursday.
You too.